welcome to the morning show. We're coming to you today on WJOPLP Newburyport at FM 96.3 on Channel 9 and on Newburyport Community Media's YouTube channel at ncmhub.org. I'm your host, Mary Jacobsen, and I am delighted today to welcome Tarah MacGregor. She is co-chair of the Board of Directors of Newburyport Pride, and she's the Enrichment Coordinator for Newburyport Recreation and Youth Services. Tarah, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about Newburyport Pride 2024.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to come back, especially after the last year from when I was here last time. We've had a lot of changes, a lot of exciting things happening, so I'm super excited to share them with everybody.
Well, one of those exciting changes was that after last year's very successful Pride Parade and very successful numerous other activities and events, you've become an official nonprofit organization. And I was hoping that you could talk to us about what made you decide the time was right to become an official nonprofit and what changes that's brought about and how it's beneficial to have that status.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really like the big news of what's happened over the last year, right? Is that when we first started out, we were an ad hoc committee through the mayor's office, part of the DEI Alliance in the city, and we have since separated to form a nonprofit. The reason for that change is because while there were numerous benefits to being a committee that was part of the city, there were also some restrictions, and we saw the direction that Pride was moving in and needed to kind of pursue some other options that would help us to make Pride what the community wanted it to be. Namely, when you are part of the city, and rightly so, you can't really fundraise, you can't seek sponsorships, things like that. Yeah. And we learned last year that to have events like this takes money. And we were like, we need a way to be able to get financial support from the community to help make these things happen. We need a way to fundraise for ourselves because, you know, venues don't book themselves, right?
Right, that's right.
So that was really the main decision. But that said, we have been working super closely with the city still. We are working in close partnership with the mayor's office. Mayor Sean Reardon has been so supportive of everything we've done since it was just a little inkling in some people's brains. And of course, closely with city council and anybody that we can really collaborate with the city. So that relationship is one that we're still holding very strongly.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. And so important to have those collaborations working for you. But I take it from what you're saying that becoming a nonprofit meant a degree of independence and also responsibility.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of learning for us, absolutely. A lot of learning on kind of what our new rules are, how we function, how we operate, what the legal side of things are, how to even manage the fundraising part of it, the financial part of it too, because that wasn't something that we were doing last year because we didn't have it.
Yeah.
The community has risen, I mean, so high to help support us though. The number of sponsorships we have this year in our first year is so much farther than any of the goals that we had set for ourselves. We're really, really lucky. And I definitely think we made the right decision because we've been able to offer a lot more this year as a result.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
then. And I know that those kind of sponsorships don't come with a lot of hard work.
Yes, we are.
So also bravo and well done.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to shout out our sponsorship chair, Mary Lovely, who has done a ton of work in getting our sponsorships all set for this year, because she has been a truly wonderful addition to the Newburyport Pride team this year.
Wonderful. Well, Tarah, I wanted to talk to you about Newburyport Pride's mission because you have an excellent website.
Thank you.
And you have a very, in my opinion, eloquent mission statement. It's really visionary, what you talk about.
Thank you.
Because you talk about the importance of inclusion and equality, not only for LGBTQ plus persons, but for all people, really, because there are so many other kinds of ways in which we're all individuals, and therefore, of course, we differ from one another in certain ways. And so I was hoping that you could talk a little bit about how you see the mission of Newburyport Pride.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Paul Goldberg, who does our website design, of course.
Well
he
done,
has done
Paul.
a wonderful job teaching himself how to create and design websites. That kudos goes directly to him. As for our mission statement, I think that when we were kind of coming together and determining what do we want to do and what do we want to strive for, we looked back rather than forward first. And throughout history, the progressive movements of the LGBTQ plus community, of the civil rights movement, of the the women's rights movements, these have been intertwined, right? Because we all have intersectional identities. We exist in multiple spheres and spaces, and progress happens through collaboration. It doesn't happen, by one person or one group.
Right.
And so when we're looking back on that past and what was important to us to carry over into the work that we were doing, it was really important to us that we honored that intersectionality, that we honored all of the different pieces of ourselves that we bring into Pride, and we sought opportunities to help elevate all of those people, not just people with LGBTQ plus identities, because to us, equity and equality are two different things, and creating equity requires collaboration, and it requires a recognition of those differences that we all share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me, I used to work at Drumlin Farm, which is an Audubon site, and Audubon made it a mission to put in what they would call everybody trails. They didn't call them trails for differently abled people or persons with disabilities. They called them everybody trails. And I think that sends a message, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like an embrace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that's just, I guess, part of my approach is that I think when we specifically were putting together our mission statement and our vision statement and naming, we welcome everybody regardless of race, regardless of color, regardless of gender, regardless of sexuality. It was really important to us that we listed all of those, because I think that it's very easy to say everybody's welcome here, but it's different to say you are welcome here and you are welcome here and you are welcome here. And that personal connection to the specific connection from person to person, I think that was really important to us, to not just have it be a blanket statement, but to have it be a really direct statement.
You are welcome here and you belong here.
Yes, exactly.
Which really is a kind of a warm embrace, isn't it?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I love that word, embrace. I'm going to be using that one.
You're welcome to it. Well, now, last year's signature event, although there were many signature events, but the parade, of course, is what the parade is what people associate with the word Pride.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about why not just the parade, but really all the Pride events. Why is it important to have a weekend, or it's actually an extended weekend, May 30th to June 2nd, everybody. Yes. It's a long weekend, a long celebratory weekend. But Tara, I am confident you've thought about this. Why are celebrations such as Pride important? How do they benefit everybody in the community, and why do we need to have them?
Yeah, so that is such a loaded question, and I thought about a bunch of different ways to kind of talk about the importance of Pride celebrations and why these things really matter to our communities, because I think that we live in an era of yay, it's Pride Month, this thing matters, and then everybody kind of goes dormant about it, right? It's that kind of rainbow washing we see where people are like, I have rainbows on my Instagram page today, and then tomorrow I'm back to normal. And so I personally think the reason these celebrations are so important and having them in so many different spaces is so important, because it allows us the opportunity to recognize that there is a history here in this community and there is progress that still needs to be made. We're going to pause here. We're going to celebrate what has been done. We're going to make space for conversation about things that need to be moved forward. And we're going to recognize that this matters beyond this time, but we're going to do it right here because we're going to honor the history here. Because the celebrations being in June are an uplifting of the queer history, the queer liberation movement. And so it allows us to kind of intertwine both past and future at that point. And then, of course, visibility, right? We're normalizing seeing queer spaces. We're normalizing creating queer spaces. We're normalizing creating accepting spaces. And the more that we can put those forth in the public, the more other people will pick up the torch and carry them. And I know I shared this last time we were here too. We are certainly not the first people to do Pride in Newburyport. There have been great groups like Riverwalk and Sweet Paws and Bar 25 that had been doing the initial labor of Pride work and LGBTQ acceptance in the community. And so I feel really lucky to be able to offer a larger platform for these things to come together, collaboration with the city, and kind of a larger network of acceptance and visibility for everybody.
Yeah. Well, you create an inclusive mosaic then of organizations. You create a bridge between the past and the present and an envisioned future. And I think those things are really important. And all of these activities, which are a way of making your ideals visible tangible
Yeah,
for people.
absolutely. Tangible is a great word because it gives people, it takes this idea of allyship or LGBTQ plus acceptance, and it gives people a place to actually do that. And I think the more we can create those spaces for people to practice what it is like to be inclusive, the more we can normalize inclusion.
Plus, it's fun.
Yes, of course it is fun as well. Of course, that is a huge part of it.
I was looking at some of the photos that Paul Goldberg had posted on the website, and everybody looks so happy and festive. Because it is, the ideals you're talking about are things that make people feel proud, not only of whatever your individual identities or the things you identify with, but proud to be part of a community, and proud to be visible, and proud to be living at a time that connects the past with the present, where people can be visible, can make your goals and ideals tangible. And it also kind of implies a future in which these kinds of events continue. No going back.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
No going back.
Yeah.
And also, I think the word solidarity comes to my mind when I think about what gives people some of that sense of joy. There is joy, I think, to be felt in feeling like you're making a community viable, and that you're part of it. There's strength, and there's also joy in that.
Absolutely. And that joy is such an important part, because I think that as a queer identifying person, so much of my time is spent thinking about the work that needs to be done. And it's not often we get to take a step back and just celebrate our existence and our progress and our queer joy, right? Because queer joy is not something that's always at the forefront of the conversation. And so getting to have those celebratory moments, I think, are really, really important in marking milestones.
Yes, and that joy will not be quelched by unfortunate events. I thought we should spend a little while talking about, it's on the front page of the Daily News today, and so if people haven't found out about it yet, they will very soon. There was a banner, a pride banner outside St. Paul's on High Street that was vandalized. And so, Tara, talk a little bit about how you see that kind of thing and how to respond to it.
Yeah. I think this is a really hard one for me to talk about, because recognizing that queer discrimination exists in the world, I think sometimes feels very far away to those of us that live in Massachusetts. I think that we tend to see ourselves in a more liberal bubble here and forget that there is a significant population here as well that is facing discrimination. The vandalism of the flag is an example of that. That shows that even here in Newburyport, where we consider ourselves to be so progressive, to be so accepting, so welcoming, there are still people here who do not feel the same way. And I think that highlights and underscores the importance of visible work like this, where we can create these events where the visibility is here, that this is not something that is welcome here. We accept all people. The outliers are the people who are choosing violence or discrimination or vandalism, and that they are the ones who should not feel welcome here, not our LGBTQ neighbors, friends, and anybody really who's living here in the community.
Well, I'm always struck by I would call it the cowardice of, because pride is all about being visible.
Yes, yeah.
And these kinds of acts of vandalism are all about being hidden away and cowardly and doing things in the dark, and so to me, those are the people who I have to imagine have some kind of, shame inside themselves, and try to cope with or deal with that. Not to get too psychological here, but I used to be a therapist. I can't help myself.
Cultivating empathy is important.
I think that that kind of behavior speaks for itself. It's sad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's really pitiful, and it's not going to stop people from having pride events,
Absolutely.
from having the community be inclusive, from celebrating who, everyone, as we've been talking about. And I noted in the article, too, that Father Jared Mercer plans to walk in the parade with that banner.
Yes.
So
and we're so excited about that,
So whatever somebody thinks they're accomplishing, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the part that gets lost in these kind of conversations where we talk about the vandalism of a banner happening in the dark, which I think is absolutely a very real thing, is these things tend to happen in the dark, in the shadows.
Yes.
And I think that that is where sometimes people would like to keep those things, but it's important to remember that when we do that, we keep the LGBTQ plus community in the shadows as well.
Yeah, right.
And so highlighting and shining a light on their spaces and their acceptance is what forces those people further and further into the shadows, in the hopes that through exposure they will educate themselves, they will learn more about what it means
Yes.
to be accepting, they will learn more about what being LGBTQ even means, and will hopefully through that process find acceptance and allyship.
Yeah, hopefully some of the joy and pride will be contagious, and they will heal the wound inside
Yes.
that would lead somebody to that
Yes,
kind of
yes.
behavior. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Well, let's talk then about what you've got planned.
Yes, we have so many fun things planned. I'm so excited. I remember last year sitting here and talking about, oh my God, I think we've bitten off way more than we can chew. And coming off of that year, being like, okay, we're gonna like tone it down a little bit for next year. But of course, we've gotten carried away. We are a bunch of really excited and passionate people, and so we have put together quite an agenda again.
You have indeed.
Yeah, so Newburyport Pride is running from May 30th to June 2nd this year. But that said, we do have two events on the 29th that I'd like to highlight.
Yeah.
First, Newburyport Youth Services does a speaker series. Newburyport Recreation and Youth Services. I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah.
They do a speaker series. They are doing a panel discussion on how to be an LGBTQ plus ally on the 29th. That night, you can find details on our website or through Newburyport Recreation and Youth Services Media. I think this is going to be a really great event for people who are at a point in their journey where they're looking for more understanding and information on really how to show up for the queer community. And at the same time, we are partnering on that Wednesday night as well with Queers and Beers, which is a local social organization that meets at Bear Wolf Brewing in Amesbury. And they are going to be having a fundraiser with the unveiling of a new beer at a queerioke event.
Wait a minute. Did you just say queerioke?
Queerioke, yes.
Okay, say a little more about that before we go on.
Yeah, so it is. It's going to be a really great event. It's going to be a karaoke event. It's going to have a queer flair. It's run by two really great women that I know from that group, and so I think it's going to be a really cool time to just like have fun and have a party and celebrate being queer.
Wonderful.
Or being an ally. Everybody is welcome.
We've only gotten to the 29th yet.
Yeah, so those are our two events on Wednesday. Thursday night, we are bringing back the kickoff at Sunset Club, which we're super excited about. So we've had a great partnership with Sunset Club and the Paddle Inn since we really started. And so that's going to be a really great event.
Yeah.
We are going to have Newburyport Pride's Miss Newburyport Pride 2024 at that event, Madam Zapple. We are so excited to have her there performing, and she'll be bringing another really talented queen with her as well. So that's going to be a great event, open to everybody, super family friendly, great food, great vibes. And then Friday, that puts us at Friday. We do have the flag raising scheduled for 4 p.m. outside of City Hall. I hope to see everybody there. It's going to be really great.
Great.
And then following that, we do have a comedy show, which is sold out at this time.
Okay.
So, and then we'll also have a youth event offered then as well. Saturday is the big one. That's the parade and the festival, though. That's our big events that we've put a lot of work in. And what's new this year is last year the parade ended at Waterfront Park, where we joined the Chamber of Commerce's Spring Fest. This year we're having our own festival, which has been a much larger undertaking than I think we initially anticipated. Yes, but we've extended the parade route. So instead of just going down Green Street, we're going to be going up Merrimack Street, through Market Square, up State Street, and then down Pleasant Street to end up Brown Square, right outside of City Hall, where people will be welcomed into our festival, which has over 30 vendors featuring a lot of local nonprofits that are supporting the queer community, so that people can learn about what's happening, how they can get involved, and how they can support, as well as some great queer-owned businesses that will be there. We'll have food trucks. We're going to have music. It's going to be a really great event.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
And just to back up a little, so the meeting place and the time for the parade are things people might like to know.
Yeah, so the parade is at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
Okay.
And you can watch it from anywhere along that parade route. So I encourage everybody to find their good spot, and then as the parade goes by, just like last year, join the parade so you can be part of that funnel that will head straight into Brown Square.
Great.
Yeah.
And can anyone march in the parade if they want to?
So there is a registration process for the parade, just because we do have to be able to estimate how many people are going to be there. But like I said, at the end of the parade, as it goes past, anybody who's been watching the parade is encouraged to join the parade in the back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And where can people register if they want to?
Online, newburyportpride.com.
Okay.
I will have to double check if the parade registration is still open, but if anybody has questions, thoughts, concerns, feel free to reach out to us and we would love to chat with you.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to Saturday.
Saturday.
And the festival sounds
yes.
amazing. I mean, it sounds like it fits the theme of inclusivity. There's going to be so many vendors there, and just it'll be fun for sure.
I'm really excited. We've put a lot of intentionality into it, and I have to shout out my co-chair, Holly Cashman, who has taken on the role of kind of chairing this festival. She has put a ton of work into making sure that there are spaces for everybody. We have a designated teen space where there's going to be a free gender affirming boutique where our teens who are maybe questioning or experimenting with their gender identity can come and access clothes for free that might help them express themselves differently.
What
Yard
a great
games.
idea.
I know, yeah. I want to shout out Lex too, who is somebody I knew from way back in the day that has recently popped back up, who I'm totally spacing on her project name, the Collaborative Project, where she's working on bringing these pop-up boutiques all over. So it's really exciting.
Yes, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So it's really cool. We're really excited to have that there. And then there's going to be a children's area as well. Newburyport Youth Service, Recreation and Youth Services. And the Friends of will be there as well, doing some fun activities for kids. We have some bubble stuff happening in that kids area. And then, of course, we'll have the larger area as well where everyone is still welcome, but it'll be a lot of those nonprofits having those conversations.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just Saturday.
Yes, just Saturday. Yeah. Saturday night, we have a Melissa Farrick concert. There's a few tickets left, so I encourage anybody who's interested in attending that concert to snag your tickets as soon as possible. We do anticipate that show is going to sell out.
And I believe that's at the Firehouse.
And that's at the Firehouse, yes, on Saturday night. And those tickets are for sale through the Firehouse website.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Woo.
I know. I've got to take a deep breath. Okay, so Sunday morning, we are having a drag brunch at Beowulf Brewing in Amesbury. We've partnered with Art Our Events, which I believe they're based out of Salem, Massachusetts. They do some really great Divas and Brews events all around the North Shore area. And Madam's Apple, again, will be featured at that one as well with a great cast over there. Tickets for that one are also sold out, but I do have some insider information that we may have a handful of tickets going up for sale tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on our events social media and our social media, because those are going to be hot commodities and they're going to go really fast.
Okay. So act quickly.
Yes, act quickly.
Tomorrow.
Do not wait on those. Yeah, this is going to be a great event. I'm really excited. We've got a great brunch menu. There's going to be great drinks. That event is 21 plus because we are having it at a brewery. So I just want to note that.
That makes sense.
But I'm really looking forward to that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Sunday.
Sunday afternoon, we are working with Riverwalk and Sweet Paws Rescue. They're doing, this has to be their 5th or 6th year now, doing the Pride Pet Pottery, where they will do the pet parade, and we'll have a great family-friendly event happening over there, which they do every year, and I just feel so lucky to be able to have that be part of the celebrations of the weekend.
Absolutely. If you're going to be inclusive, you have to have something with the dogs, too.
Yes, exactly, of course. And I would also like to highlight that throughout the weekend we will have our window decorating contest again, which was a real favorite from last year.
Been ongoing, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So that will be ongoing throughout the whole weekend.
And say a little bit of what that is, because I know you did that last year, but
we did.
Not everybody may know what it is.
Yeah, so we had over 30 businesses this year sign up. I want to say we're at like 35 or 36 now. And they're all businesses that are here in Newburyport that decorate a window display in their window. And then that we invite the community to visit all of these spaces on the map, take a look at all the window displays, and then vote for their favorite. And their favorite will receive kind of a commemorative certificate that they won. It's a really great event because I love to see all of the creativity that goes into these windows, the different things that people choose to highlight with their windows. We have more people doing it this year. It was arguably one of my favorite parts of last year. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing Newburyport all decorated again.
That's really great.
The map of all of the locations can be found digitally on our website. Okay. We'll have that uploaded once everything is finalized, and we'll also be distributing hard copies at the festival as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, but that's just Sunday.
I know, yeah. And that's pretty much where we're going to wrap things up. But that said, we are doing the art exhibit again this year. It's opening June 7th, I believe, at the Paula Esty Gallery for Art and Activism, the PEG. Right. And we have over 60 pieces of art by local queer artists that are being featured this year. And I am just so excited about that one because last year the art exhibit was so great. And I think we're only going to have it be better this year by growing it so much.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive. I was breathing deeply as you were talking.
I know, seriously. It's a lot.
Y'all have been working really hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into this. So I just want to remind everybody that our volunteer applications are still open. We are still looking for volunteers to help with the actual day of execution, of the parade, of the festival, of the brunch, of all of these events that we put on. And so if anybody's interested in volunteering, you can sign up for that on our website. And you'll hear from our wonderful volunteer coordinator, Nancy, who will help match people up with activities and places for them to be. And then, of course, I do also want to remind everybody that after Pride, the work doesn't end, and that we will be opening up board applications again for next year. So if anybody's interested in getting involved for 2025, we're going to be really excited to be welcoming in some new minds.
Wonderful. Yeah. That's really great, Tara. What are you most excited about?
What am I most excited about? So this is a really niche thing that's just for me, right?
Yeah.
So my office is in City Hall at Newburyport Recreation Youth Services, and we have this big window that overlooks Brown Square, and so what's carrying me through is I can't wait to see the festival open, have all of these people in Brown Square, and then sneak upstairs for a moment to see it from the top, from that window, and see all of the work that has gone into bringing this together, and seeing everybody just enjoying and celebrating.
Yeah. And breathe in deeply.
And breathe in deeply.
Gratification of knowing you did well. You and all of your allies and co-board members and volunteers, because it is a ton of work.
It is.
But it's a gift to the community. It's a gift to everybody, as we've been saying. So thank you for all that hard work and for planning so many great, fun, wonderful, and varied things. That's the other thing I'm impressed by. There's so many different kinds. There's something for everybody.
And really that's what's so important to us. Is it's incredibly important to us that there is something on the schedule that makes everybody feel welcome, that makes everybody feel like they have a place. And so creating that diversity in events is a very intentional task. And part of that I have to credit to the varied minds that are part of the board, that are part of the volunteering efforts, because all of these ideas are what come together to create such a great range, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, it sounds incredible. So let's remind people once more what the website's name is, so people can go there and get their last-minute tickets if they can.
Yes.
And also just other information about Pride itself, the organization, how to volunteer, and all of these incredible events.
Yeah, so all of the information you can find at newburyportpride.com, super easy. We have our events list there. We have information about the parade and festival there. We have our volunteer sign-up form there. We have information about the window decorating contest and ultimately how you would vote there. So really that's the hub of all of our information. And then I encourage everybody to follow us on Facebook, Newburyport Pride on Facebook, and then NBPT Pride on Instagram, where we're constantly posting about new information, when ticket sales go up, when they're reopening, what flyers, where to be when, all of that kind of stuff goes through there. And again, I have to shout out Paul Goldberg because he manages our social media in addition to our website.
And he does a really great job.
He does. He does a great job. We're very lucky to have him.
And I should add, because I've been admiring your T-shirt, that anybody who wants a T-shirt like the colorful one that Tara is wearing, there's a store on the website as well.
Yes.
For you yourself, if you want a T-shirt like Tara's, or I think sweatshirts and mugs and
we have all kinds of stuff on our website with our logo on it. And then actually, so while we were bringing it up, we have a local artist, Dave Hay, who has designed a new T-shirt for us for 2024. You'll be able to buy this gray T-shirt and our new T-shirt, which says Newburyport on the front in the colors of the Progress flag. Fun fact, there's exactly as many letters in the word Newburyport as there are colors in the Progress flag. So that was really cool to discover.
That's That's got to mean something.
Yes, so we will have that t-shirt for sale, these t-shirts for sale, and if anybody's interested in making
Yes.
sure they get that new 2024 Newburyport Pride t-shirt, they are for sale right now at the Paddle Inn, so you can go grab one so you can wear it to the Pride events if you want. I know they've got some inventory over there.
So if anybody's interested, now they know where to go.
Exactly.
Tara, thank you so much for coming on the show to talk about Pride and its meaning, to talk about the transition to now being an independent nonprofit and how that benefits you and brings you more work, but it's work. It's
Worth it
important
work.
Well done. And thank you individually, and thank all the people who've worked with you to make Pride 2024 very special and very exciting.
Thank you, Mary. I feel so lucky that we're able to have opportunities like this to help share our message, and so I just thank you so much for giving us the space to do that.
It's my pleasure. Well, anyway, that's it for today, everybody. So please join us again next Thursday at 9 for the morning show. Until then, everybody, be well. All right, take care now. Bye-bye.